Hello and welcome to another edition of the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. Thanks so much for joining me. We got lots of baseball to talk about. What do you say we jump right in? Starting, of course, with the news. The Red Sox have decided to extend Aroldis Chapman. Great year from him. Absolutely fantastic year. Uh, they obviously very happy with him deciding to extend him into next year with an option for the following year. Um, I saw a video on Twitter recently where it was a lot of his improvements this year came from PitchCom and Connor Wong being able to say, "Hey, we want a fastball outside right now." And prior to that, I guess Aroldis Chapman had been very much just, I have big stuff. You go ahead, try to hit it, see what you can do with it, and it worked for him. Absolutely worked for him. But now his step forward is to the fact that you can call a fastball outside or think like that, and I gotta say, that seems wild in a lot of ways. If it's true and it's worked, I mean, hey, good for Chapman's stats and his career and everything, but, oh my gosh, I mean, sequencing, location, right? That shouldn't be anything wild and crazy to a professional pitcher. But either way, whatever it is, he has been fantastic this year, and his performance certainly deserves the extension that he was granted. Even being as old as he is, we'll see what that looks like heading into next year. Pavin Smith suffered a quad strain, which means he's more than likely done for the year. That hasn't been made official, but the wording on all the news that I've seen about it is that he's done for the year. It's likely, probably the case. He's had a 122 WRC plus in 87 games. He's been pretty good. I mean, he's had solid performances, all that stuff. He does hold a 28% strikeout rate on the year, though. That's kind of been holding him back a little bit. Ronnie Simon heads to the 10-day IL for the Pirates. He had made his MLB debut earlier this year with the Marlins. The Pirates promoted Cam Devaney. He was sent to the Pirates by the Royals at the trade deadline, and since the trade, Devaney has hit 256 in AAA with his new organization. He will be making his MLB debut if he does get into a game. He was, I believe, if I remember correctly, promoted to the Royals roster earlier this year. Didn't actually play in a game. So when he does play for the Pirates, if he does play for the Pirates during the stint, it will be his MLB debut. Looking at kind of a versatile defender type profile where he probably will play a few different positions, kind of that Isaiah Kiner Falefa mold, I would say. And that's kind of what you're looking at there. But congratulations to Cam Devaney. Hopefully, he does get in a game soon and will make his MLB debut. Mackenzie Gore heads to the 15-day IL with inflammation in his left shoulder. I think people knew something was going on. He had kind of downplayed it, but he does land himself on the IL. Maybe he gets shut down the rest of the year at this point. I mean, we are at the back end of this season. He had a fantastic first half. Things not going as well in the second half of the year. I've seen a lot of comparisons to maybe he's just another Jesus Luzardo, where he's going to put together good performances with just a cherry bomb in there somewhere. But either way, we may. This is just speculation. We may not see Mackenzie Gore for the rest of the year again. 15-day IL with left shoulder inflammation, his throwing shoulder. The Nationals may make that decision just to shut him down the rest of the year. We'll have to see, keep up with the news for updates on that one, more than just my own speculation. And wrapping up our news, Jackson Chourio is back from the IL. Oliver Dunn has been DFA'd by the Brewers. Chourio has been out since July 29th with a hamstring strain. So it's good to see him back. The Brewers having success without him will likely continue to have success with him. The dynamic outfielder is going to be taken back over the everyday center field role for the Brewers. Moving on to some hitting highlights. Samuel Basallo picked up his first career home run, powerful backstop. Really would have thought we'd seen him earlier in the year, but that's not how things shook out. He needed to keep working on his defense before they could give him a chance. It was an opposite field home run on a breaking ball. Dude has so much power. This will be far from his only MLB home run, but good to see him get his first home run and good to see it go to the opposite field. So he's flexing off or flexing that power that we all know that he has. He has 39 at bats with the Orioles. He's hitting 205. Not the start you want, but he's a fantastic hitter. He was hit over field by a long shot. And so hitting's what he's supposed to do, and that is what he will continue to do, I'm sure. Kyle Manzardo has home runs in back-to-back games now after going yard against the Mariners. He's got 23 home runs on the season, is hitting 235. And, at least in the circles I'm running in, or the people who I see talk about, there's not a whole lot of talk about Kyle Manzardo. And he's having a decent year. I mean, he's maybe just torque with less hype. A couple points lower on his walk rate, a couple percentage points higher on the strikeout rate this year. He's got 4 or 5 less homers at this point in time. It's not, I mean, torque is performing better by almost every account, but Manzardo is really not too far off. And so when you're looking at, price heading into next year, if you don't get torque, you could probably get Manzardo on a cheaper price. Curtis Mead for the White Sox already seeing some improvements with his new team after being traded to them at the deadline from the Rays. Mead is hitting 254 since the trade. No home runs. He hit his second double with the team in yesterday's game. It could be a slow road, but there is room to believe that there are improvements to be had there. Regular playing time is going to be good for him. He's been playing a lot of third base for the White Sox, getting actual regular playing time, something he struggled to find in Tampa. And the shine's come off the apple a little bit for Miguel Vargas, but there have been some clear improvements for him that have happened since he joined the White Sox organization. And I think Curtis Mead could be in for a similar path of improvement. They need to work on different things, but a similar path of improvement, and things are going well for him already. As I mentioned, his average is much higher. He's hitting the ball more frequently, still waiting on his first long ball as a member of the White Sox. So for this fantasy season, probably not somebody you're looking at for any help, but down the road, it's possible he could turn into a decently helpful infield option, depending on how things shake out in the future of that White Sox infield. Elias Diaz, 2 home runs for the Padres. He's got 8 on the year now, hitting 202. I'll tell you what, he's not put together great averages since leaving Colorado, but had a couple home runs in this game, and certainly not bad from the backstop position if you just happen to be needing a catcher and he hit 2 home runs for you. Zach Neto. I cannot overstate this. Dude's a star. He's going to be expensive in redraft leagues next year. 24 home runs after hitting 1 in yesterday's games. Add to that his 24 steals. He already surpassed his 23 home run mark from last year in 80 less at bats, and he's very close to that 30 steal mark he was at. He is just performing, and he has done it in a couple years now. He's doing it in less at bats this year. Neto is somebody for sure. If you miss out on what I imagine to be the top tier next year, Neto's not a bad secondary option when you still got to get him early in drafts. But if you don't have those top 1, 2, 3, 4 picks, you might end up with Neto, and you're probably going to be happy with it. The Mets offense cannot be stopped. Well, technically they can. They lost to the Marlins, but they continue to hit just home run after home run. Juan Soto and Mark Vientos now have hit home runs in back-to-back games. Soto had 2 of them yesterday, and he's up to 35 home runs on the year. Vientos is up to 15 on the year. He seems to be breaking out of that rough stretch he'd been on this year. There was, again, reason to believe, if you look under a hood, that Vientos was just having some bad luck and needing to turn around, and it seems like that's kind of been happening over the last week or two for Mark Vientos. Francisco Lindor hit his 26th home run in the game, also not to be overshadowed by the other 2. They still lost to the Marlins, but it has been quite a home run parade lately for that Mets offense. Josh Lowe also hit a pair of bombs, picking up 4 RBIs. He's got 9 on the year now, and kind of just repeating last year. Last year he hit about 240, 10 home runs, 20-something steals. This year, kind of the same thing. He's hitting 230-something, 9 home runs, and 16 steals. So he's going to have some speed, and he's going to hit you borderline double-digit home runs. And finally, for hitting, in his return to action, Jackson Chourio picked up 2 hits, including a home run. big welcome back to him. As I mentioned earlier, it's been a while since he's been on the field for the Brewers. There was some concern over his rehab. He went 1 for 13, was striking out quite a bit during that rehab stint. Found his stride, I guess, in the first game back with the Brewers. Hopefully, he can continue to do that. But just another reminder that rehab appearances are more about playing time than results. And so, if the results aren't there, that's still fine. They're working on certain things, making sure they're ready to go and ready to play. So, as much as it's nice when a guy can go on a rehab stint and light the world on fire, not always going to happen, not always the biggest deal in the world. And hopefully Jackson Chourio can continue to prove that, again, picking up 2 hits and a home run in his first game back in action. Looking at some pitching, Trevor Rogers continues to have that magic-filled season, the magical dust that got sprinkled on him as he returned from injury. He lowers his ERA to 1.39, allowing a run across 7 innings with 5 strikeouts against the Giants. And this is now 90 innings of solid performance this year. He's just been really, really good. And that's, I haven't had time to dive under the hood as much as I would like, but that's just super interesting. And I can't wait to see if this is real or not. I mean, this is beyond what he's done the last few years. He had the one really good year and now kind of back in that stride, but it's been a few years since that season. Definitely feeling good with coming off of his injury. For the Guardians, Gavin Williams outdueled Logan Gilbert in that game. Williams struck out 8 across 7 innings, allowing just a run, and he's got 77 strikeouts over 84 innings in his last 15 games. So Gavin Williams been on quite the stretch, and this is who we thought Gavin Williams was going to be, not the what we saw, first thing when he got up to the big leagues and was battling his injuries. This is the Gavin Williams that it seemed like was coming when he was a prospect. The Twins' big pitching acquisitions, Taj Bradley, Mick Abel, both of them pitched in yesterday's games. Bradley rather, was the starter. He struck out 6 and allowed 1 run over 5 innings, which is good. That is exactly what the Twins want from him. As he was up and down with the Rays. He had a bad first outing with the Twins. Second one went really well. Mick Abel, on the other hand, pitched 1 inning, came in right after Taj Bradley, and gave up 5 runs in that 1 inning of work. So still ways to go probably for both, but Bradley showing some success, Abel struggling. For Houston, Spencer Arrighetti worked around 5 walks, allowed 1 run, struck out 8 batters against the Angels. So he did put up a good performance, but those walk numbers are not what you want. The Cardinals pitching staff took on the Reds and won, but they won without recording a strikeout. Michael McGreevy allowed a single run in 6 innings. Jorge Alcala, Jojo Romero, Kyle Leahy finished things off, and no strikeouts for the entire game by that pitching staff. They allowed 2 total runs and 8 hits, but I can't remember a game where not a single strikeout was recorded, especially that team winning. But that's what happened. Moving on, Chris Sale struck out 9 Phillies in his return to action for Atlanta. Sale allowed 1 run, scattered 3 hits, and a walk across 6 innings. It was his first game back since June 18th. On the other side of that game, dueling against Chris Sale, was Christopher Sanchez, who went 7 innings, struck out 8, giving up a run. Sanchez has taken a real step forward this year. He's got a 2.26 ERA, and it's a legitimate step forward, too. I was having a conversation about this recently, and whatever change he has made, it is absolutely real, and it's great to see as Sanchez, 181 strikeouts in 169 innings this year. Dude's looking real good. And wrapping up pitching, Mason Barnett made his MLB debut for the Athletics. Did not go as planned. 5 earned runs across 4 innings, striking out just 1. He did have a high ERA in the PCL, but he was striking out more than that. So the runs, okay, you could probably have seen that coming. The strikeouts, you think he might have had a few more. He should be able to get another chance at another crack at MLB batters. We'll see how that goes, but his debut, not the way he wanted to for Mason Barnett. And with that, a quick timeout coming. When we come back, going to talk about some of the pitchers coming up today. Once again, my name is Trevor Hooth, and this is the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. And welcome back to the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. We've talked news, we've talked hitting and pitching highlights. What do you say we take a look at some of the games coming up today? Got a few pitchers to mention, starting with the Rays and Ian Seymour. Ian Seymour has made a lot of appearances, 13, well, not a lot, but 13 appearances this year. Most of them have been in relief. He got his first start his last time out, where he struck out 8 across 5 shutout innings against the Guardians. We are about to see Ian Seymour's second start as he takes on the Nationals. We'll see if he can keep things going overall on the year. As I mentioned, he's got a lot of relief appearances, 34 strikeouts, 28 innings with a 3.18 ERA. So we'll see what the Nationals have in store for him. But if his first start is any indication, this one should be a pretty good one too, and if he's available, definitely should be a good streaming option. Michael Wacha is taking on the Tigers for the 4th time this season. In his first 3 games, Wacha's thrown 18 and 1/3 innings, giving up 5 earned runs with 15 strikeouts. This is all just against the Tigers, and his last appearance was against the Tigers too. But it's just kind of been solid every single time out. He's got the Tigers number for some reason, which leads me to believe he'd be a good play against them this time out as well, because it's just been successful throughout the year, and this is not his first rodeo. It's to the point where there's a decent sample size in terms of one season against one team, and Waka's been putting together good performances each time, it seems like. For the Marlins, Sandy Alcantara, is he slowly coming back? I mean, look, when you come back from an injury like that, you're not going to be yourself right away. Uh, Same thing could be said for Andrew Painter, by the way, but that's a whole nother conversation for a different team. Sandy Alcantara, however, not the season he's wanted. It's been a rough year, but over his last 7 games, he's posting a 3.07 ERA with 40 strikeouts and 44 innings. And he's gone 6 or more innings in each of his last 3 outings with 23 strikeouts and 20 innings. His last 2 outings have gone 7 innings each. Like, he has been doing very well recently on a sustained run. He's going to be taking on a red-hot Mets offense, so there's that to take into consideration. But seems like Alcantara may be slowly starting to regain his form. That is definitely notable. And finally, the game of the day, it's the Braves versus the Phillies. Hurston Waldrep taking on Jesus Luzardo. Luzardo obviously has the ability to take over any game, and he has the ability to not look great in a game. That's just what he is. It's very frustrating for fantasy managers. I'm thinking through my fantasy team and what's going to happen tomorrow or today rather, as I head towards my fantasy playoffs. But he's taking on Hurston Waldrep. That's kind of the more interesting side of this, because Waldrep has made legitimate changes to his usage, and it's paying off in a big way. He has been statistically brilliant over his handful of starts at the big league level this year. So he's definitely taken a big step forward, it seems like, and that makes that a really fun pitching matchup, Waldrep versus Luzardo. That's what I got for you, and I will see you guys next weekend. This has been another edition of the First Pitch podcast on Pitcher List.